We have spent close to £1 billion over the past few windows, but my friends, even with the abundance of players we've signed, we are still one more signing away from completing Pochettino's team, and as we know, we are in the market to sign one more attacking player. So in today's video, I am here to give you guys my 5 suggestions that I hope you can sign before the window ends. I'm here to give my best signing, my wildcard option, my mega money buy, my loan signing, and my youth player as well too. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button because that lets me know if you guys like the video, and most importantly, share your thoughts and opinions too. So without wasting any more time, to start things off, I'm here to give you guys my mega money buy option, and I'm looking at Lille's Jonathan David. Now, over the past few seasons, in my opinion, David has become a European class striker, and he has more room and potential to go to another level. Last season, in 40 appearances, he got 27 goals and 4 assists, and in my opinion, I feel like he suits and complements Pochettino's needs. He is able to play across the attacking lines. He plays as a support striker, an attacking mid, and recently as a striker for Lille. He is blessed with explosive pace, and he knows how to use that pace intelligently to make those curved runs and runs in behind. And I think this explosiveness that David brings kind of reminds me of the benefits that we used to receive when Timo Werner used to play under Thomas Tuchel. And my thinking is that David has that pace benefit, but he has a higher technical capacity compared to a Timo Werner. And when I see his movement, David kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Raheem Sterling, with his ability to find spaces inside the box and his ability to finish first time as well too. Now, in my opinion, we need more support for Nico Jackson inside the box. At times, he has been quite isolated so far this season, and having like David and Sterling in behind could be really exciting, really explosive, as all these guys can find the separation inside the box to finish moves off. On top of this too, David is a very strong penalty taker. I like the fact that David can score from both feet, and last season, 31% of his shots came from his left foot. And finally, he can create that separation inside the box to take shots for his own. Now, I have to say this, I feel like David can add even more improvements to his overall game. I feel like he can develop a few traits in his game to take him to that elite class level, and I still think he's like maybe 3 or 4 years away from being like an elite level striker in Europe. But working under Pochettino, seeing what Pochettino has done with players like Harry Kane, and also playing alongside a better standards and quality of player, I feel could take David's game to that next level. Now, in terms of his stats, he ranks in the 97th percentiles when it comes to passes completed. So this guy is not wasteful when he's attacking on the counter-attack or in the transition. And for me, you can rely upon him to find a teammate to play the right pass at the right time, and having a player that can score, assist, in my opinion, that is very vital. Now, he ranks in the 91st percentiles for passes received, and it makes me think about his runs in behind, those curve runs, and those runs between defensive lines to open teams up. And my thinking is, this is a player who can play with, can play close to, and play off of Nico Jackson. David is a very good receiver who likes to drop deep to turn and run too. So I can just see these guys working in tandem in our attack. And David is similar to Nico, where he likes to play a few backheel passes, and I think, again, it'll be quite fun. Now, interestingly enough, Lille have now dropped their asking price by €5 million, and it seems like you could sign David for around £51 million. So the question is, my friends, do we place a mega money bid for David? I guess time will tell. So let's move on the list, and for my loan option, I'm going for Barcelona's Ansu Fati. Now, there are some rumours suggesting that Barcelona could be open to a potential sale up to the tune of around €50 million, or he could be potentially available on loan before the window ends too. Now, the main reason why I've gone for Fati on loan is based on a few things. Number 1 is injury history. Number 2, this guy is earning over $200,000 a week at Barcelona. With our current wage bill, that would make him one of the highest earning players in our club right now. And number 3, we have players like Nkunku and Chukwuemeka set to return within the next few months. So, could it be smart for us to turn to a player who has big upside to his game and at least rely upon him for one season and assess them for the following season. Now, since Fati announced himself as Barcelona's latest wonderkid back when he was 16 years old, unfortunately, he suffered injuries after injuries, and they've been mainly based around his knee. But he's still 20 years old, and he has plenty of time left for him to hopefully maximize his potential before his career ends. Could a new environment away from Barcelona help Fati find and rekindle his game back? Now, have Barcelona necessarily been perfect in helping Fati recover from these meniscus injuries? I'm not too sure. A few years back, there were some issues between Fati's team and Barcelona when deciding how to facilitate Fati's injury to the best abilities. And in the end, Barcelona kind of rushed his recovery back in 2020 by doubling his physio sessions, and this inflated his knee further. And since then, things have got a bit worse. Sadly, due to the amount of complications around his knee, it developed to the point where Fati only had a few strands left of his meniscus, and eventually this was completely removed. But since they were removed, he has had better control over his injuries. But Xavi hasn't necessarily looked to rush him back and put him straight in the firing line. We fast forward to the future, and Barcelona already have another wonderkid on their books in Lamine Yamal. And after only making 2 sub-appearances this season, could it be a wise move for Fati now to get a loan move elsewhere, rekindle his form, and get consistent minutes? Now, Fati is a very strong ball carrier. He plays the right passes at the right time. And for me, this guy's a very efficient and very accurate shooter. He can shoot inside the box, outside the box. He can run on the end of moves. And he has demonstrated over a very short amount of time that he has that match-winning capabilities to his game. In that sense, he's kind of like a Vinicius Jr. style player. And it's not a surprise to me that this guy ranks in the 99th percentiles for touches inside attacking the penalty area. Over 111 naps for Barcelona. That's 29 goals and 11 assists, which isn't too bad considering all the difficulties that Fati's faced. He can play across the attack, he can pin a fullback, he can run in behind, he can take them on, and currently his dad is pushing for him to leave Barcelona. And is it any surprise that his agent too is Jorge Mendes? With Barca still open to signing Joao Felix, could that open up a door now for Barca to also let Fati leave on loan? And most importantly, can we be the club to unlock Fati's high potential and restore his game? And now, my friends, let's move on to the best buy that I think we can make, and that is none other than Cherki. Now, for me, he could be absolutely outstanding in this system. His mixture of ball retention, ball progression, and his ability to play all across the front lines. He is the type of player, in my opinion, that makes his teammates better. If you're a teammate, if you're under pressure, you play that pass to Cherki because 9 times out of 10, he's going to keep the ball, retain it, and kickstart another attack. If you are in transition or the counter attack, you're going to rely upon Cherki to make the pre-assist or find your running behind. Cherki is someone that can turn the game on its head due to his willingness to attack the spaces, and he is blessed with natural ability that you just can't coach. Some players have that, and those players are a very rare few. There's an ease in which he plays with the ball, and there's a bit of a ball mastery already at a very young age. He's one of those players that makes you fall in love with the game. He has attempted the most take-ons compared to anyone this season in Europe's top 5 leagues. He ranks in the 99th percentiles with successful take-ons. Currently, there is no one better than him in Europe when it comes to successful take-ons. And when you analyze those progressive carries that draw opposition towards him and then create space for his teammates, well, it reminds me of how we used to benefit from having Eden Hazard play for us over his 8-year spell. Cherki ranks in the 97th percentiles for shots creating actions, and he does this with incredible footwork and incisive creativity with the ball in behind with either foot. And it's in these areas for me in which Cherki demonstrates his skill set. He ranks in the 94th percentiles for touches in the attacking penalty area, and for me, a player that ranks high in stats in this particular metric, that's a player that I want. To have a ball carrier who excels in dribbling through the middle at this level is a very rare thing you see in Europe, because Cherki has purpose behind everything he does. Whenever he carries, it leads to a shot for himself or he sets up a teammate. with like a beautiful reverse ball in behind, or a ball over the top, or a lofted pass, or a 1-2, or a line breaking pass, or a shot outside the box. Like, he has so much in this game at a young age that it doesn't make sense. And the fact that he is equally blessed with his left foot and his right foot, it makes him a bit of a unicorn right now. And it makes it even harder for defenders to defend against him and predict what his next move is. Normally, players like Cherki, they're the players that managers focus their tactics on nullifying, because if you nullify players like this, you have a better chance of winning your games. And for me, that is the biggest compliment I can give towards young wonder kid in Ryan Cherki. And when you consider his value and the ridiculous upside to his game, in my opinion, this is a no-brainer, especially now that Kudus is now going to West Ham. And now moving on to my wildcard option, that can be none other than Amin Gurri. Now for me, Gurri is Mr. Consistent. Over the past 3 seasons, he's regularly getting double digits for goals and assists, and he's a player that can play all across the front lines. That is something that Pochettino is looking towards. Last season, in 42 apps, he got 17 goals and 7 assists after he made a mega money move from Nice to Rennes. And when you break down his game, Gurri is blessed technically. Like, he drifts from the left channel, and in my opinion, he could be like a smart alternative to a Christo Nkunku. He's very good in the left wing, he's a great support striker, he's one of those players that combines beautifully for combinations and sequences of play. He's a creative link with the ability to move infield and to take people on outside too. And most notably, I kind of feel like he would really complement playing alongside Nico Jackson for times when Nkunku isn't about or needs to get subbed off. He has decent speeds, decent acceleration in the first opening minutes, but it's not fantastic. But the thing that separates him is how Gurri thinks. And normally, it's very hard for opponents to predict his next move, and players that assess situations faster due to how quickly they think. Ultimately, they can be more dangerous than players blessed with physical advantages. And for me, I feel like Gurri would complement our game perfectly, as we rely upon a lot of wide triangles, rotations and combo plays. I'd say in terms of ability, he reminds me a little bit of like a Trossard of Arsenal, where he has the level to play for a top 4 team, but I see him more as like a squad option, with the plus side being that Gurri probably has a bit more potential to grow left in his career. In my opinion, he could be a very effective buy. He's very exciting to watch. He could be a phenomenal squad player, and you're guaranteed to get a reliable amount of goals and assists. He'll win you the odd game, he'll produce an amazing moment of quality to help with the team up front. And in my opinion, there aren't worse squad options around, and I think Gurri is a technical king. So right now, my friends, I'm going to end things by giving my youth option to turn to, and that is none other than Nonso of Leeds. Now, currently, he's found himself back in the Leeds team. He played in their last game recently, but he made things very clear this summer. He wants out, he wants to leave, and even though he's getting a lot of stick because, a young player that is being this assertive in his career, I mean, that is Nonso down to a T. Now, this guy came from Inter Milan's academy and he won accolades for fun, but at 16 years old, he was like, no, I want first team football. He left Inter Milan and he signed for FC Zurich. And he helped FC Zurich win the first Swiss league in God knows how long, after they finally beat traditional heavyweights FC Basel to the title. So at a young age, he's picked up a ton of experience, and he's already won 12 international caps for Italy, making his debut as an 18-year-old against Germany, where he got an assist in his first game. With the Euros approaching next summer, I understand why Nonso wants to move and wants to play in the Premier League, because he wants to secure his national team spot for the summer. And in my opinion, he could be a very interesting youth option to turn to. 19 years old, tons of upside, he can play out wide, but most importantly, this guy can play in the middle. He can play as that support striker. And it was interesting because when Leeds had Jesse Marsch, he was using Nonso more in the middle, and I felt like Nonso could express his game a lot more. And when Javi took over, Javi Gracia, he played him more in the wide areas and left him a bit isolated at times, and he did have some difficulties, but again, he's 19 years old playing in the Premier League, and there aren't many team players in Europe's top 5 leagues getting the amount of game time that someone like Nonso is getting. But when I break down his skill set, he has the ability to become a match winner. He had a standout game against Man United last season. He is the definition of fearless. He will take opponents on. He has no fear. He has complete confidence in himself. And I think this is a player here you can develop over the years. This is a player you can work upon, that you can improve on many things in his game. He has intelligent movement. He's very stocky. He presses off the ball relentlessly. He can change direction on the fly. And a part of me thinks, what could Nonso learn after getting mentored by Raheem Sterling? I like how the ball is glued to his feet when he dribbles. Very explosive, very dangerous player. And as I said, he can play up front, support striker, right and left, and has tons of big game experience too. It does seem like Nonso could be available for a relatively decent fee, and we've shown that we aren't opposed to signing a talented young player if they come our way. And there we have it, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm really curious to see everyone's responses and reactions. If you guys agree with my list, then of course let me know in the comment section. And if you guys don't agree, I'm really curious to see who your options would be for us to sign before the window ends. So my friends, on that note, I am Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.